Good morning. Welcome to Charlotte Black Live Morning Coffee. How are you all doing this morning? Wake up, wake up.
Wake up.
This morning I have my special guest, Leander McClain.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And listen, I know this is your show.
Yes, sir.
But I have my special way I got to say it, so I got to say it
Well,
so my people know I'm in the house.
All right.
Good morning, all my cigar smoking people and the rest of y'all, too.
How y'all doing this morning? How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. I didn't have to cook dinner for the whole family.
Oh, that's nice.
So all I cooked was a turkey and a cake, so I was good.
All right,
I
then.
was real good.
I ain't mad. Now, I cooked up. I didn't have a whole bunch of people to cook for, but I did cook. I made some collard greens with some neck bones. I know everybody don't eat pork, but them neck bones was
Hey,
true.
listen, the smoked turkey is good, but
Smoked
every once in a while you got to throw a little hog in there.
And I'm just saying. I made mac and cheese.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And listen, I was
Fried
watching the
turkey
sister.
wings, a lot of
Watching the
stuff.
sister. She was making Thanksgiving dinner in her truck.
What?
She had the greens and the yams
In her
and
truck?
In the truck, meatloaf, everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
she
goodness.
did.
Now, that's somebody we need to talk to. I need to understand how she worked that out. Well, I hope everyone out there had a blessed and happy Thanksgiving. I know that I did. I ate well. I hope you ate well. I hope you got full. I hope you're ready to get full again with some knowledge. How about that?
Sounds good, because I'm still full from Thanksgiving. So
I heard.
I'm ready to spit something out.
All right, this morning, fashion trends, virtual shopping versus actual shopping. So everybody knows it's a big deal with the Black Friday, and it's been real crazy this year. Like, I was watching the news this morning, and there was a shooting in a mall. I mean, just folks is just losing it. I don't know what's happening.
Well, when your kid needs that G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip and Big Mama won't let it go.
Don't do it.
I'm just saying.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't even do it. Don't do it. For real, we ain't got to go in the mall and shoot up the place.
No, we don't
to
have
get the G.I. Joe.
We could be peaceful, but when
Yeah.
it's cold out there, when you've been sitting online for 6 hours and somebody tries to cut in front of you, people get a little upset. I'm just saying.
I understand. So I guess when I was watching all this, right, I thought, is it better to shop online or to actually physically shop? So, especially during the holidays, right? And I can kind of see the pros and cons, right? You do avoid that craziness, people cutting folks off, act crazy, all of that foolishness.
Right.
But at the same time, you don't get the exercise. It's not as exciting. Well, I guess it can be exciting because I've got excited shopping online.
And listen, when those packages show up,
You'll be like,
it's like Christmas. But the thing is, now I do a lot of shopping from China. I know, go USA, but I shop from China. And sometimes, when it comes in, it'll say it's a size extra large, but it's that big when you get it. So,
Ooh, I know what you're talking about. Be like, that jacket look real cute. And they said extra, extra large, and I can't even get my arm in that joker.
I hear you.
What? Yeah, so, and that's the other thing. That's one of the risks you take of shopping online, because you don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
Especially, I think, even with Amazon, you don't know where it's coming from. And the sizes are not always true. When you go in the store, at least, right? You try the stuff on.
But if you know the name brand that you're buying, though, if say you're buying a certain name brand and you know the quality, you say, well, I'm just going there for the price because I know it. So when you shop name brands, it could be a little different.
Okay.
It could be.
Okay. I'm just saying. All right. We're
We're
going to just go with that.
I'm going to let you do what you do, I'm always looking for a bargain, so China,
Me
here
too.
I come.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I look for deals. And so, I do a lot of shopping online, but I do kind of think it just takes away from the nostalgia.
Yeah, it
Of
does.
the spirit of the holiday. You know what I mean? It's different when you're out there and you bundled all up and it's cold and you got your tissue and your hot coffee and you get in the store, and then you go through all the aisles and Hey girl, how you doing? Girl, I ain't seen you in 1,000 years. You know, that kind of
See,
thing.
but you a woman, and you shop different than we do
Oh,
too.
okay.
So
I keep
you know,
forgetting.
we
Yeah.
just go right in, get what we get, and get on out of there. And women, we gotta look around. Hey, girl, tissue. We're not trying to do
Yeah,
that.
but when you go, let's say if you go on, if you go with your wife or your girlfriend or whoever your significant other, your friend, female, you don't.
Hey, honey, I love you, but I don't like shopping with my wife. So
You don't go with your wife and you shop.
I do, but I try not to, cause we just don't shop the same. We don't shop the same. Like I say, we get in, get out, and keep it pushing.
Well, see, how long you been married?
Ooh, over 10 years now.
Okay, see, so like by now she kind of knows. She
Of
knows,
course.
right? So, that's different. Y'all got this routine.
Yeah.
You got this thing down. Y'all understand each other when it comes to shopping.
Absolutely.
So look, we going to the store. We go get what we go get, and then we go eat.
No,
whatever.
No, that never works.
Oh,
That never works. Because that's what y'all will do. You will tell us one thing, and we know in our heart that, hey, listen, I'm just going to run right in, and we'll be in and out of here in 5 minutes. And you know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you know yourself. Yeah, so you know it.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's someone out there who would say, yeah, Denise always say she going in there real quick and don't never come out quick. I ain't putting no names out there, but he know who he is.
I'm just saying.
He's
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, hey. Well, however way you shop this holiday, you guys be careful out there. Make sure you stay vigilant and, aware of your surroundings, because you just never know, what pops off when.
Yeah. And you got to be careful, and that's the thing that I say for everybody,
Yeah.
women, men, everybody. You have to not
Absolutely.
be blind when you're out there. Look around. Just take an extra second just to be aware of who's close to you. If something doesn't feel right, move out of the situation.
Absolutely.
Because your gut and your instinct always tells you right. So if something doesn't feel right, doesn't look right, you don't have to stay and find out if you were right.
Yeah, just
Get on out of the
there.
situation.
Absolutely. I completely agree. All right, I want to talk about something I read online in the Washington Post. The headline said, I'm sorry, timeouts are dated and ineffective. Or timeouts are a dated and ineffective parenting strategy. So what's a good alternative?
Did it tell you?
Yeah, well, they said you have to talk to them, and what did they say? You have to talk to them because putting them in the corner is like abandonment, and it causes them emotional issues.
Here we
And
go.
okay, I'm just gonna just say I know some of you guys are not gonna agree with my response. So what I wrote down in my notes when I read that, what's a good alternative? A belt.
Yeah, well, hello. Okay, so now we on. I thought you
That's
were going somewhere else.
I wasn't, but they were.
We on the same page.
What? You said, listen, my mom only had to tell me one time. It was no time out.
Listen,
okay?
there was no such thing as timeout, but there also was no such thing as ADD, ABC, CBA, all this stuff, and you need all the medicines because of the problem. My grandmother would tell you, she would see a kid acting up in the street, and she'd say, you know what? That mama needs a butt whooping.
Oh. Hello. I'm going to take a drink of my coffee on that.
Because the kids are the ones that are looking for guidance.
That's right.
And they are looking for you to teach them. So when you let the child run the show, wait a minute, who's in charge here?
Exactly.
And I'll look at them and I'll say, hey, listen, you are a little person, and I'm in charge.
I have a caller.
Oh, call.
All right. What?
On line 1.
On the speaker. Okay, let me see. I got
All right.
a caller. Hold on. Where?
Hit 1.
Okay. Good morning.
No, I guess that wasn't it.
No caller. Oh, we got notified that we had a caller, but I'm not seeing the caller.
I ain't used to the high tech. My show is, low tech, so we don't have callers.
Shoot, I don't know. Line 1. Wait
There
a
it
minute.
is. Up.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Charlotte?
I am doing fabulous. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. It's Joseph calling now. I wanted to make a comment about the parenting style.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I think, like you said, the belt works best, but I think the government needs to get out of our household and how we raise our children.
Did he say
You
it?
better say it, brother.
Yes,
Disciplining the child and abusing the child is two different things.
that's right.
And I feel like all children cannot be disciplined the same way.
That
You're
is
right.
absolutely correct.
Yeah, so I just want to share that good show. I'm listening to you, so I'm along back in.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, and
I think he makes a very good point.
he is right about that, because you will know if you have more than one child, or if you've raised more than one child, there are differences in those kids.
Listen, absolutely, okay, because my kids, son and daughter, were very different. My daughter, all I had to do was threaten her. I would tell
same
you,
way.
see, look, I'd be like, you see this purse job? I will tear you up in here. She was terrified.
Right.
Right? But my son, oh no, you had to make him a believer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like, yeah, okay, whatever. You what?
Yeah.
So you really had to snatch him up for real, because he wasn't a believer, but I knew I had to pay attention to my children and understand their temperaments and understand, even their emotional needs, kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
How to get them to
Right.
do what I needed them to do and to listen. Because he's right, they're not the same, which means you have to approach them differently.
Right. And
But once I got that down, it was good.
And it's not, and people will say, well, you're abusing. One of the basketball players just talked about, he said, I had to discipline my son with a belt. And everybody was all up in arms, right?
Oh, Lord.
But there are times, like you say, you have to make the child a believer. And especially when you're raising kids, boys different than girls. I know people will say, don't be sexist or whatever. My experience, they have been different. And my daughters have been the same way. You get that belt or whatever, and listen, all I had to do was raise my voice. And it was like, that's it. My granddaughter now, I pull out the wooden spoon. I said, do I need to get my spoon? And she'd say, nope, I straighten right up, But when you are teaching the kids that you have consequences for what you do.
That's right.
And therefore, I'm not going to just let you do what you do without consequences. So now there's something that you might not agree with the belt, but if you don't like it, and if whatever it is, some people take things away, it might be the timeout, whatever
Right.
it is, it's going to be something. And each kid, you have to figure out what you are doing that is going to discipline them, and then be consistent with it.
Yes. But you know what? I learned with my son, right? It changed over time, right? When he was younger, I could do one thing. Because, I did try to take his toys when he was a baby, when he was, a little boy. This smart joker said, you're right, Mommy. You should take all my toys because I've been bad. I said, ooh,
He
I
played
wanted,
the game
I
now.
wanted to straight up. I'm like, what 4-year-old playing psychological games with me? And so I sent him in there and I took all his toys. That little boy took bread ties and made him
Made
some
his own
toys.
toys.
But that was, for me, that was a learning experience. That was a valuable experience because I learned how creative he was.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have known.
Right.
Because you always hear, take these toys, go somewhere and play. I have to wash these dishes.
Right.
But anyway, you just have to learn. And as they get older, they are different because when he was a teenager, he acting up in school or whatever. I'm like, listen, you going to do what I tell you to do. You can get off that game, blah, blah, I'm going to take it. Okay. Okay.
All right, let me find something else then.
Okay.
Yep.
No. I took the game. He was cool the first day. Like, all right, shoot, I got this. Second day, he was fiending. Mom, can I get the game? No, sir, you may not get the game. So you kind of gotta hit them where it hurts.
Right.
But it's just to get their attention, and I don't mean hit them literally where it hurts. But you know what I'm
right.
saying? Just to get their attention. Because we are responsible for these little people until they become of age
Right.
where they can make decisions for themselves. And if we don't teach them well, then they're not going to do well.
And
we have to equip them.
Society, I always tell people, and I tell the kids, listen, you're going to have to follow somebody's rules, right? So why not do it under your own freedom? You don't want to have to be in jail. You don't want to have to be someplace where somebody else is telling you what you have to do. Do what you do, but hey, listen, you still got to follow the rules. And that's all what you are doing when you are disciplining the children.
Right.
You are showing them that there are a set of rules that you have to discipline them. Now, when you follow the rules, man, you get something that you've been working toward.
Exactly.
You get a reward.
Exactly.
It's not like all punishment and no reward.
Exactly. Even with when you get physical, just like with a belt or whatever, right? Everybody, oh, that's abusive. Well, I know when I was coming up, right, we just didn't get beat down, kicked in a corner, and that's it. I mean, my mother would always say, this gonna hurt me more than this gonna hurt you. And that was her way of emotionally caressing me before she physically put that beating on, that whooping on me. And it was, it wasn't, I didn't look at it as abusive, but it let me know that she, number one, don't forget she's in charge. Number two, I needed to pay attention. So I learned from that, and I don't think I came out,
Listen, I don't think I came out
badly.
Bad at all.
You know what I mean? So I think I'm a contributing citizen.
Member of society.
Member of society. All right. Well, I don't know. I see the line blinking. Is there somebody on the line? Let me see if there's somebody on the line right quick.
Ooh, she's a professional now.
Yeah, I got that thing together.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, nobody there. Okay. All right. I'm just checking. I ain't want nobody holding on and then they you didn't answer the phone.
I called and you didn't answer.
You didn't even answer. I saw you talking. Okay. Well, real quick before we go to break, Leander, I want you to tell the people, and I meant to do this earlier. I got excited and jumped off into the topic. I do that sometimes. About your podcast and what you do.
Oh, sure. So my name is Leander McClain. I am known on YouTube as LeeMac912.
All right,
cigar reviewer, but I'm not really a cigar reviewer. I tell people I'm just a guy in my garage smoking a cigar with my dog, and people just watch.
I heard that.
So I got a couple of my folks out there that are online. They came, they tuned in. Shout out to my brother Ivy and brother James Coleman. I saw that they both liked the page, and some other folks will probably be out there as well. But that's what I do. But my cigar reviews are not just cigar reviews. They start out, we light a cigar, and sometimes we talk about the cigar, but lots of times we talk about life.
Right.
And there's a lot of life lessons that are in the middle of the cigar review. What I found out, I was just talking, and what I found out is that the things that I was saying was helping some people.
Yes.
And, one of my sayings that I have, and I have to say it before I get out of here, I tell everybody I've had a great day every day for 11 years. 11 years. And they say, well, how you do that? I say, every day I wake up, first I thank God for letting me see the day.
Yes, indeed.
Another chance.
Important.
And then I say, today is going to be another great day. And I say, well, all right, well, what difference does that make? Well, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. So you're going to have problems throughout the day, some days.
That's right.
So when you say that, your subconscious mind hears you. When you run into that problem, you're like, okay, I'm cool. My boots is laced up. I'm ready for war. Let's see how we're going to get through this, because we can get through a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's all about perspective. I say it all the time.
Whole lot of stuff. So LeeMac912 on YouTube, you can find me, and we also have a website, iRobusto.com.
Okay.
ROBUSTO. iRobusto.
Well, we'll get you to repeat that
Yes,
at the end of the show.
Ooh, I called you a sir.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
You
hey,
know.
hold on. No, sir.
I'm not even offended right now, 'cause I already know. Okay, y'all. Today's topic is when helping becomes enabling. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, man.
You know, we started this topic a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we
That
did.
thing got so hot and heavy, I was like, wait, we got to save it.
Put the brakes on.
We got to put the brakes on for the show. So we're going to take a short break, and then we are going to come back and we're going to discuss how helping can become enabling.
All right.
All right, in a few minutes.
Yeah. I got the
If you want something out of life, if you want to change yourself, if you want to acquire something, if there's some goal that you want to reach, that is really not easy as some people will make us feel. That living your dream, changing your behaviors, overcoming negative habits, it's challenging. It's hard. It's very important that you engage in an ongoing process to develop you. Spend more time on yourself than what you've been spending. Many of us never realize our greatness because we become sidetracked by secondary activity. We spread ourselves too thin, don't know how to say no. And we find ourselves doing all kinds of things and never ever have time to do those things that we need to do to work on ourselves. And then there goes a second, there goes another second, there goes another second, and we can't stop and hold time. Overcoming the negative conversation, that inner dialogue that's going on all the time, even when you don't want it to be there. You can't stop yourself right now from thinking. You can't do it. It's going on. And so learning how to empower yourself, part of doing that is standing up to yourself. You've got to stand up inside yourself sometimes and say, shut up! When you're working on something you want to achieve, you have got to stand up to that voice. You've got to sell yourself every day on your abilities, on what you're doing, on the goal that you want to reach. You've got to sell yourself every day, according to your level of belief. It will manifest itself in what you're doing. Whatever we have right now, whatever we're demonstrating in our lives, is a result of what we believe subconsciously that we deserve. It takes courage to act. Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. When you have something you want to do, if you don't develop the courage to do that which has been given you to do, and you spend a lot of time going around trying to convince other people or trying to get their approval, what will happen is that you will lose your nerve. And other people will convince you that what you're doing doesn't have any value, and you'll give up on your dream. As you begin to develop and expand your skills and your talents and your vision of yourself, you will always be in control of your destiny.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, yeah, we were just sitting here trying to figure out some things, but I'm going to work on that. Okay, so when helping becomes enabling. So I don't know whether I should start with what that really means or if I should just get into it.
Do what you do.
Okay, so I'm going to read you what I looked up. So helping is when you do something for somebody that they are not capable of doing for themselves. Mm-hmm. That's what we would consider helping. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, kind of. Okay. Enabling is doing something for someone that they should be doing for themselves.
Okay.
So this is per verywellmind.com Buddy T. That's his definition, and I like that because it shows the distinction between the two, because sometimes those lines, right, can be very blurred, which is why we're having this conversation.
They can get blurred.
Okay. It says, enabling creates an atmosphere in which the person can comfortably continue his unacceptable behavior, which is the reason why we got to discuss it. So let's just get into it. One of the things I brought up is when women take these brothers. Now, you know, I'm a woman. You know, I'm single. I get it. You know, you see a man down, and everything seems good, and it's like, well, he's cool. He's, maybe if I just help him out a little bit, everybody need a little help sometime. I'm going to help him. I know I see him looking around.
I'm going to turn him into a super brother, right? Yeah.
We're just going to help him out a little bit and get him on his feet. And I've heard a lot of women say that, and it's like, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Why can't he be a man? Why can't he be a man, right? Isn't a man called to be the head and the leader? If you go biblically, right? The man is the head.
Yes.
Now, take nothing away from my sisters. My grandmother will say, he may be the head, but I'm the neck. So the two of us go together. Head can't do anything without the neck.
Right.
But if you are the man, it depends on the relationship. Because I see a lot of women that are not married and not in a committed relationship saying, I'm just going to help him on his feet. But he hasn't committed to you. You're not married. You might be engaged. You might be living together. But what is he doing?
Right.
Why do you need to help him out? I come from a line of folks that my grandfather, he always worked 3 or 4 different jobs. So he went from one to the next and the part-time, and while he was driving the cab, he had stuff he was selling in the trunk and cutting hair at night and on the weekend.
He was getting it done.
He was getting it done. So even though my grandmother ran the store and ran another part of the business, he was still doing what he had to do. He wasn't laying around playing Xbox and playing the game and going to the club all weekend and popping bottles and showing off for folks. You're supposed to be the man. You're not supposed to sit around and wait for your woman to have to give you help. I'm not saying that you don't need help.
Right.
You might get help every once in a while. But that ought to be after you've exhausted all other avenues. And in fact, you are out there still looking for another avenue when she comes to you and says, baby, can I offer you some help?
Yeah.
And as a man, most times you might say, you know what, that's okay, I got this.
Now, you know what, I have been, being a single woman, I have dated men who I offered help to and they refused it and I got pissed off.
You shouldn't have.
And I didn't realize that until I dated someone who I offered help to. They accepted and kept accepting and kept accepting and kept accepting. And I'm like, well, damn, at some point, right?
Yep.
This is something really simple that I shouldn't have to think of for you. You should know as a man that there are basic things you need. There are basic things that you should be able to do for yourself and not rely on me to do it.
But what has happened, what has created that, what has created all of these little boy men, I want to call them.
Okay.
They are these little boy men. I say the crack epidemic of the 80s took a lot of the fathers out of the home. So we had a lot of women that were raising these boys. And women do a great job raising children.
Okay.
Great at nurturing and loving and all this other stuff, right? But there's another side of that. The man is there to be the disciplinarian. He is there to set the rules, set the boundaries, and to show you the things that mom is not going to show you, that mom can't necessarily show you.
Right.
And I'm not saying that there are not women who don't do a great job raising boys who do both sides, right? You can, right? But there are certain things that your father is going to teach you and show you that your mother, for the most part, cannot and will not agree with your father showing you that.
Now, see, right there, that's the piece. Ladies, we have to learn to stand down when the men in our households are trying to teach the little men in our households. We get so emotionally invested, right, that we don't know when to let those reins go, so that they can learn how to become a man. Because to us, we're like, oh yeah, my baby,
that's my baby,
and we have to, at some point, that baby is turning into a man. He probably ain't even a baby at the point where you're calling him a baby, where this is happening. You have to allow him to learn to be a man. And it is a difficult thing. Trust me, I went through it. It is a difficult thing to do. But how else are they going to learn? Just like you said, there are things I knew a long time ago. There are things that I cannot teach my son. I can't teach my son to be a man. I'm a woman. And there are certain things I cannot teach him. So what I tried to do is always position him around men, real men who could teach him, and that is how he's become the man he is today.
And one thing as well, and we have a lot of situations, especially when you get older in age, you may date somebody who has children. Right. So if you're dating a woman, or a woman, you have a son, and you're dating a man, first of all, you need to know, it's not only about love and I love to date him and he treats me nice, but how is he going to treat my children? And what do you think about my children? Because we come as a package, right? So when you come as a package and you love him and he accepts your children, now you're going to have to let go of those reins and let him do what he does and accept the fact that if he loves you, he is going to love your children as well. And he is never going to do anything to hurt your children.
That's right.
So that's where a lot of the mothers get it. They're like, well, I'm protecting him from you. Well, wait a minute.
But if you trust him,
then
you shouldn't have to protect him. You shouldn't have to protect him. So now you got to, like we talked about last week, not assume but assess. You need to assess your situation, and now you need to take inventory of your own emotions towards this mate of yours, and whether or not that's the right decision for you. If you can't trust him with your children,
That's right. Because if you can't trust him with your children, he's the wrong guy for you. I don't
Absolutely.
care how good he is. I don't care how much money he has.
Yep.
I don't care how much he treats you nicely. If you don't feel that you can leave that guy with your children, your daughters.
yeah. Oh, what?
Your minor daughters. If you cannot
He don't need to
trust
be
them,
there.
he doesn't need to be
He
there.
does not need to be there. No, sir, he does not. You know, and a lot of times, and I get that. You know, we can kind of you want to empower more so than enable, and that's what I think a lot of times, and it's not just women that do it; men do it too.
Right.
When we're trying to help, we want to really kind of empower that person to be the best person that they can be. But sometimes those lines, again, they get blurred. They get blurred. So I'm trying to. When do you know? You know, like from your perspective as a man, like a man may feel a certain kind of way. Let's just say. Right? You got two people in a relationship. One's helping the other, probably doing way too much, right? But then they realize they're doing too much and they try to ease off. I mean, there's no easy way to do that. But now you're like, oh, I done messed up. I'm doing too much. Let me back off. Now they get pissed off because now you're, oh, you act like. I mean, let's talk about that.
So you kind of, no matter what you do, right? You always have to think like you're playing chess, right? A lot of people don't know how to play chess now, but chess is a thinking man's game.
Yes, it is.
It's a game where you are making a move now for something that you're going to affect 10 moves down the road.
That's right.
So no matter what you do, when you get into a relationship, job, anything, you kind of have to know why you're doing it.
Right.
And when you get into that relationship, you kind of have to ask those questions right up front.
You should be asking those questions.
You should
right
be.
up front. But it doesn't always happen like
I know,
that.
because you're in love. I'm in love. Oh, he looks so good. Oh, girl, did you see his hair?
Oh,
you know, it's like,
and by the time you figure out,
it's too late.
you all in the middle of it.
It's too late. So how do you back up out of that? Most of the times that ends up in failed relationships.
Yeah.
So you have...
But does it? Does it have to?
It doesn't have to, but
Okay.
I'm saying, my advice to anybody now that's in the beginning of that relationship is that you need to ask those questions up front.
Yes, indeed.
You know, so you can go and you can ask my wife, and she'll tell you when we first met, it was like she was on a police lineup. I was like, I need to know about this and what about that and what and like we need to have talk about
Yeah,
this.
and you know, couples don't do enough of that kind of talking. Now, let me tell you something. You know, we just keeping it real. That's what we do on our show, y'all. We keep it real, right? Now, it's easy to say, hey, let's go get a hotel. You know, we want to get with it or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Those conversations are real easy. But when you start talking about in depth, what you want to know all that for?
Right.
Well, you all easy. You all quick to get all up in my panties.
Right.
Why can't I know about what's going on with you in your background? To me, that's not as personal.
I needs to know.
Right.
You should want to know.
Yeah, you gotta know.
Yeah.
Expectations. You know what I mean? What are you expecting? What do you
Right.
think you're gonna get out of this? Because, and I know people say, right, you shouldn't put expectations on relationships. That's I've heard. You know, there's a million opinions about it. But I think in the beginning, you do need to kind of understand what is it are you looking for. Remember, guys, we talked about on a previous show, we talked about game playing. So, you know, you got your setup, you got the agenda, and you got the payoff. Sometimes going in, it's good to use that to kind of assess where you're at, where you're trying to go. Because if I'm looking for a long-term relationship, like, I'm just, chilling. I'm just going to take it day by day or whatever. That may not be a good match for me.
Right. And, when you do that up front, it helps you to smooth things out later on. And again, the kids come into this as well.
Right.
Because it's like, well, what do you want for him? It's like your son, I'd say this, your son comes home with something that you didn't pay for.
Ooh.
And he don't have no job.
Where you get that from?
And you didn't ask him where he got it from, and you don't figure it out. Well, it's okay.
Oh.
So,
No.
again, are you raising a successful citizen, or are you raising a thug? And I say in one of my videos, listen, if your daddy was a thug and your granddaddy was a thug and you raising a thug, I ain't really talking to you, because that's not, you do what you do, right? But if you are trying to raise a successful son, and I'm not saying everybody is going to college and, collegiate and straight lace and prep. I think you have to have a nice mix between the street and education.
Yeah.
You got to have a mix, right? Mm-hmm. I need to know, but what do you want for your son when we are getting into a relationship?
Now, see, that's good.
What do you want? Because if you don't want anything for him rather than him standing on the corner, and I want something better than that for him, I like you. We had a great time at the hotel, but this ain't really going to be no long-term thing.
But I'm telling you, people are not having those kinds of conversations.
No.
They're not. I can't name one man who said, what do you want for your son? Mm-hmm. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't remember anyone really saying that. I mean, I've had people, because I have male friends in my life, of course, and they always, have chimed in, with my son and making sure during my lifetime, like helping me raise him, talk to him when I need it, and they were interested. But I'm talking about when I'm in a relationship, trying to date a person, they have never come out and said, hey, so where do you see your son in 10 years? Like, what do you want for him? No one. And so that means maybe we need to change the dialogue or the conversations we're having when we start meeting people.
And you might also need to change that dialogue for yourself. You have, if you've raised children and you have different children, some children are very smart. Some kids, I love them, but they ain't really that smart.
Yeah.
They ain't that,
I got you. Because it takes all kinds.
It takes all kinds. So I'm not going to try to push the kid that is not very smart to go to Harvard, because he's not going to Harvard. But he's very good at something else, so why don't we foster that? Maybe there's a technical field that you can go in. You like working on your hands, working with cars. Let's try to get you some certification so that you can make some good money working on cars and not necessarily be a shade tree mechanic. You have to kind of have that conversation. Well, what is it that the kid wants to do?
Now, just, piggybacking off of that, right? We talk about enabling, right? That is sometimes how we end up enabling our children. Mm-hmm. We want them to go to school.
Right? They don't want to go.
They don't want to go.
Right.
They're not feeling it. So what do? We allow them to sit up in our house and half-ass go to school. Right? Why
you accept that?
And just let them lay up in there. Well, he going to school. He been in school for 12 years.
Right.
He ain't made no progress because that's not what he wants to do. And so we're enabling him because we call ourselves trying to empower him, make him do better. But really we're just enabling him because now he's not doing anything.
You have to allow your children to do the things that are interesting to them, give them guidance. I never say, here's what you need to do.
No, you
I
can't.
say, here's some things to think about over here. Here's some things to think about over there. And then you go forward, and you allow them. It's like, my youngest daughter picked a field. She's in athletic training. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we talk about it. Well, what'd you pick this for? And why did you pick this? And what interests you about it? And what are you thinking about? And where do you want to go to work? And what level of teams? Okay, so she has those answers. If she doesn't have those answers, well, go look that up and come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
And again, so now when they want to go that way, she wants to go that way. Now I kind of support her in doing what it is that she does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have another daughter that's a nurse. I'm like, I don't have anything to do with the medical field. My wife works in the medical field. Not my thing. But if that's what you like, I'm going to foster that and help support you in the things that you like.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing with me, right? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, my son is not going to let me choose for him, I'm going to tell you, my son...
Smart man.
Yeah, for real. As an adult, I have to tell you, my son put me in my place. I went to go see him. He's out in Hawaii, and I went to go see him, and I'm treating him like a baby. And he had to, get me straight. He kind of hurt. I was in my feelings. Shoot. But, that's who I raised. So I was proud of that because I'm like, you have learned to be your own man. Right. He did it in a respectful way. He didn't disrespect. Right. He didn't disrespect me. He hurt my feelings, but he didn't disrespect me. But I realized that's him being his own person.
Right.
My daughter, however, I wanted her. I mean, she is a mechanic. She's going to school to be a mechanic. That's what she loves.
Do your thing.
And she is excelling. So I've always tried to create an environment when I was raising my kids to allow them, you gotta take care of them. You gotta kind of protect them.
You do.
But also allow them to be the people, to grow into the people that they are naturally without forcing something on them.
Well, my mother always taught me this. She said, she uses the mother eagle as an example. She says the mother eagle will build the nest and she make it real nice for the babies or whatever, and she bring the food to them. Everything is nice and beautiful. But there's a time when the mother eagle says, all right, it's time for you to go. And she
kicks them out.
She kicks them out.
Yes.
And so either you're going to fall or you're going to fly. So sometimes them 30-year-old dudes you got sitting at home, I'm talking to y'all, who 30-year-old dudes that's sitting at home on your couch, not working, but you going to work every day.
Yeah. That's not cool, man. It's just not. It's not. You guys have, we want these young folks to be productive adults. You guys got to know you're not going to be 30 forever. You're not going to be 25 forever. This is the time to build your future, to chase after your dream and do your thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that you can retire.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I looked up because I realized that sometimes it can be difficult knowing if you're enabling, because I know there's some folks out there going, it ain't me, I ain't enabling nobody, because blah blah blah. So I did look up some things that online, and this was the title of the article is "Are You Empowering or Enabling?" By Karen Kaligi, Dr. Karen Kaligi, and that's She posted that on July 11th. And that's also on verywellmind.com, I believe. Okay, so the tips she gives, she says, questions to ask yourself to know whether or not you're an enabler. Okay. Do you often ignore unacceptable behavior? Like, are you walking by the kids on the couch talking about, boy, get your feet off my couch and take that trash out, and that's all you got to say? Or, I'm going to pay this bill for you next time, boo, but I need you to do better. Okay. Do you find yourself resenting the responsibilities you take on? Ooh.
See, now you do it and you mad that you do it.
That you do it, yeah.
But you created that monster.
Created the monster. I've done that before. Like, get on my doggone nerves. Why you always... And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, well, why did you do it?
Yeah, you allowed it.
So who you going to get mad at?
You allowed it.
Yourself. Do you consistently put your own needs and desires aside in order to help someone else? I know that's kind of to help someone else, I guess, in that particular situation.
Going to work.
Let's keep it in perspective. In that particular situation.
You going to work every day and you riding around in a raggedy ass piece of car. But that boy who just turned 18, well, I want him to have a
brand new,
right,
shiny vehicle.
The same one who's sitting on the couch and ain't going to work. Did you look for a job today? Well, I'm going to look tomorrow. Tomorrow, your ass will be riding, because guess what? I'm going to be driving that brand new car because I'm paying for it. But that's just me. All right, sorry. I
mean, that's what it is. No, for real, that's what it is. Or are you... Okay, I'm about to step on some toes. Somebody out there gonna say, "Ouch!" Are you paying rent for your children and paying car notes for your children and doing all these things, buying groceries for your children, and then when they turn around and lose all of that, you going, "Well, damn." I can't believe I did all of that, and this is what I get. You have to let them fall on their face.
It starts from little up until they're older. I would always give my daughter an allowance or something, and we would go in the store. I remember once we went there. It hurt me to have to do this, right? She came and she picked up all this stuff and put it on the counter, and she was looking for me to pay for it. I said, well, you have money. Take your money out, and you could pay for it. Well, she looked at him. She put most of it back. Now, it was nothing for me to get it, but again, it was the lesson of, hey, listen, do for yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I think that there are times when our kids are out there and they're trying to make it and they're struggling really bad and they need help,
That's
and
different.
we offer that help.
That's
But
different.
I'm talking about when we are consistently paying and doing things for them that they really should be doing for themselves. Because I've fallen in a slump. Everybody has been there, and there'll be more people that go there
Right.
at some point in your life. And it's okay. You take the help when you need it, but that doesn't mean that you become dependent upon that help. And that is what I'm talking about.
Right. And see, if you raise a responsible child, they are going to tell you no thank you.
Yes.
At some
Yes,
point.
they will, because yes, indeed.
No thank you. I got it, Mom. It's okay.
Woo, my goodness, my kids. I am grateful for those two cheering.
Yeah,
Because they
I
do.
am
They'll
too for
tell me,
mine. Hey.
I don't know, I'm good. I'm good. In fact, I get upset. Because I'm like, well, if you was going through this, why you ain't call me?
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just saying,
Gotta let
it's
them struggle.
good. It's good to help your children
Right.
when they're in a position where they can't help themselves. But when they're in a position when you find yourself constantly helping them,
Right.
now you got to back off. Now you got to wash your hands and say, you know what?
Right.
They just going to have to fall on their face and learn.
Right.
Because that's what we did.
And
And it helps them become an independent person. It teaches them how to survive those situations.
right. And again, help versus enabling. When I'm helping you, you can't pay your car note, but then I look and you just go, wait, is that some new hair you got on? Like, didn't you just tell me you couldn't pay your car note and you got new hair? Like, you just got the new Xbox. What?
I'm telling you are speaking the truth up in here.
So then that becomes enabling.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So it says, here are some of the other things that they listed. Do you have trouble expressing your own emotions? Do you ever feel fearful that doing something will cause a blow up? Or that not doing something will cause a blow up and make the person leave you or even result in violence? Do you ever lie to cover up for someone else's mistakes? Do you consistently assign blame for problems to other people rather than the one who is really responsible?
Oh.
That's a big one.
Wait, who is responsible?
Ooh, my
We
God.
are responsible
Yes.
for all of our actions,
Yes, we
good
are.
and
And
bad.
bad.
And that's the one thing you can say about me, hate me or love me. I did it. I said it.
And that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Do you continue to offer help when it is never appreciated or acknowledged? Now that thing right there, ooh, that's something right there. When you trying to help somebody and they don't appreciate it,
Right.
okay. All right then.
Take my little help and going on
That's
down
right.
the road is what I'm going to do.
That's right. That's right. Or they tell you, or you know how folks get. I ain't gonna use
I ain't asked you.
Right.
I know you didn't. What? Boy.
Right. So, let's talk about a little bit about why. Well, we've touched on it. So I looked up another a different part of the article. I can't even get my. I sound
That's
like
all
you
right.
on your podcast. And you had to repeat it.
Yeah, that's right. That's 3 times. Sometimes.
Oh Lord. Okay. Why enabling is a bad idea. So I read something. I'm just going to read it straight from
Okay,
here because
go
it
ahead.
was. I thought it was real good. It said it's easy to become completely entangled with the issue and lose sight of where to stop and start. That's why it's bad.
Right.
This whole enabling thing, because now you don't even know, you get lost.
Right.
And the line becomes compromised and blurred and you don't know kind of where to stop and start. Of course, this is per the article for me,
Right.
once you know, I think that's when you say, okay, I got to stop.
But if you think about that up front, you already know where you're going to stop before you start it.
That's true.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to pay these 6 months. Month 7 is on you.
Right. But you got to stick to that. That's what I'm saying.
You have to stick
to that. And,
Right.
and when because you get in the, okay, I'm going to do one more. No, you can't. You have, this is what I'm doing. And when this is over, this is what it is. Now, I'm just as guilty as anybody else. I've done it. So, I mean, it's easy to say it, read it on paper, sound good. But when you care about people and you don't want to see them struggle,
Right.
it's difficult. It's really difficult.
No, it is.
I don't know if it's more so difficult for women than men.
It is.
But I'll say because we're nurturing, most women are nurturing and very emotional creatures. It's difficult. You're like, I don't want to see him struggle. Okay, I'm gonna help
It
him one
is.
time. But you can't. We gotta pull up our bootstraps and be like, no.
You have to allow them to be who they can be. I want to allow you to be your best self, your best person.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know a lady who had pulled in a guy who was the daughter's boyfriend. He said, "Oh, but he's living in the car and it's going to be wintertime." I was like, and he got a job in gas. What's the problem? What is the problem? You can get a sleeping bag from Walmart. You can at night you ain't gonna burn but more than 2 gallons of gas, so you got heat. And you can take your ass to work. So what is the problem? Until you can do better.
I mean, and I understand, and it sounds good right here. I could say, yeah. But really on the inside of me, I'm like, what?
He's in the car. You'll be all right.
Oh my God. Okay,
You'll
that's
be
a
all
man
right.
thing, y'all. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, I don't know if I could co-sign on that, but I get it. But
You'll be all right, ladies.
I
Let me
don't
tell you.
know if I can. You have to push me to a certain point to be like, you know what, you sleep in your doggone car. I don't care. I have to be there.
But listen.
Because just to be like, okay, I just,
But what hurt is going to happen? Oh, he got a sniffle. Okay, get a box of Kleenex and keep moving. See, that's the part that the man teaches you, that you don't have time for excuses and
Right.
all of these little things. My father would say on Saturday, "Hey, listen, we got to get up. We got work to do." Yeah, but I'm tired. Okay, so you're tired.
yeah, that's true. Now that my dad was very much that way. He, you know, I think my brother went out one day. I don't mean to put your business in the street, bro. Sorry. He went out somewhere and was out late or something, I think, and he still had to get up and get it done.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he was hurting,
Oh,
but he
yeah.
had to get it done, and he did it.
That's a part of being a man, though.
That's how, you know, we were raised. You go get it done. The other thing is people assume responsibility for other people's issues.
Right.
That's part of that enabling. Now you thinking, well, this is my problem. That's not even your problem.
I wrote it down here, and you probably said it earlier. Do you do something for someone that they can do for themselves?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. But, you know, when we start believing that Susie's rent problem is my rent problem,
Ain't my problem.
that's a problem.
No.
And that's what happens with some folks. Like, well, I got to make sure because, no, you don't. That ain't even your issue. That's none of your business.
But that's the nurturing part of
Yes.
the woman
Yes.
that we suck at.
Yeah.
As men.
Yeah.
That's why you need that balance. You got to have the
Yeah.
male influence. You have to have the female
female
influence.
yeah.
Because you don't want men that are all rough and no care and no emotion about anybody. You want someone that has a balance. A well-balanced man is what you want to have when you're raising these young boys.
Yeah,
Can't be all man, can't be all woman. It's got
yeah.
to be a little bit of both.
Both, right. But I think it's important when we're talking about enabling, when you realize you're enabling, the issue is not your issue. It's that person's issue. And you need to look at it from that perspective so that you can allow them to take care of their issue. It's not for you to handle.
Right.
You know, that's their cross to bear. It's not yours.
That's correct.
So, and then the other thing it talks about is it's also unhealthy. It says not only is enabling unhealthy for you, it is counterproductive for the person. So if we want to empower people or individuals, we need to allow them to go through their process.
Right.
Because when we enable them, now we're interfering with their process, their learning process, their life learning process.
Right.
So, and we don't want to do that.
I want my children to be more successful than I ever was, and I tell them, hey, listen, I need y'all to pick out a good nursing home for me, and I need you to make lots of money so I can have a nice nursing home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's good. Do
That's
more
it.
and do better.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do more and do better. All right, y'all. We're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna come back and wrap it up. See you in a few minutes.
I'm your conscience.
Okay, that was good.
I say will first because that's where you are. You locked and loaded with skill. You practicing every day. You putting in your work. You buying everything. You making an investment. You living your dream. You walking like your dream. You surrounding yourself around your dream. You got mentors, everything. You putting your work in. You got your skill. Now it's a test of your action of making progress is progress. The push itself, the fight, you get up and swing and miss, that's progress. You get up and you run at what you want with everything you got and you miss, that's progress. The effort of making the attempt is progress.
Hey there, were you raised in the 90s? If you said yes, you've probably been called digital natives, innovators, entrepreneurs, and for sure, millennials. Maybe you don't believe in labels. Yeah, that's not you. But you are one thing for sure.
Arguably, the more important part of it is the fact that you are being the role model for the future generation.
You are reinventing the world.
Me? Yeah, you.
You may be lost at this point, and that's fine. But remember, find your purpose in life. Not your parents, not your friends.
Not what your teachers think, not what society thinks is important, but like listen to your gut and your heart and think about what it is you want to do.
And make sure it's the one.
I think a lot of us, we're amazed. What an amazing time to be alive.
Start a revolution. Your revolution. Work hard. Play hard.
If I had not persevered and followed my passion, I would not have been able to make use of my talent.
Enjoy the journey. Inspire and get inspired.
I also learned that you have to be persistent and prove yourself.
Let your purpose in life always guide you.
And if you hustle to pursue what is meaningful to you now, you will change your life, you will change the lives of others, and you will change the world.
Together, we can make a difference.
It's your time to make a difference. What are you going to do? Create the world you want to live in.
Hello, welcome back. Well, it has been a great show, and I hope that all of you have gleaned something from the fields of the morning coffee show. Want to take time out to thank you for sharing your time with me and coming out here to chop it up a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, you gotta come back. You gotta come back.
Absolutely, anytime I will come back.
Absolutely, gotta get you back in here. And again, can you give the people your information so that they can follow your podcast?
Sure, LeeMac912 on YouTube and iRobusto.com, iRobusto.com. You can also leander.mcclain at iRobusto.com is an email. So if you got some folks that are out there in your life that maybe like cigars and you have some questions, you don't know what to buy them for Christmas, just send me an email. I'll help you out. That's what I do.
I heard that. I heard that. All right, y'all. It has been a great morning. I was just sitting here telling Leander, I like to keep it real. I forgot to look up the quote. So I was online like, oh my goodness, I got to find a quote. So the quote I did run across, which I thought was interesting, was a man cannot be comfortable without his own approval.
I like that.
I like that. I really like that. One more time. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval.
All right, pass the collection plate.
Yep, pass the plate. Pass the plate. All right, y'all. Let's be careful. Let's be good. Be responsible for yourself. Be good to other people. And as we always say at the end of the show, get ready. Stay ready. All ready. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a blessed week and a great rest of your day. Take care.